everyone, this is Katherine.
And Dora.
So today's podcast is all about college applications, where we'll be answering some of the most common questions. So let's get started.
First, let's start from the beginning. When did you actually start thinking seriously about the college?
Well, I started thinking about it seriously around ninth grade. My family hired a private counselor, which, yes, was really expensive, but it gave me a really clear roadmap early on. They gave me a lot of ideas on what I can do to polish my extracurricular, so always trust money, I guess.
Same here. I did some summer programs and built up my portfolio. And I tried to keep my grades constantly high. Looking back, I would say I aim for an average above 90 if you can.
Yeah, that's true. And also make sure your extracurriculars are consistent with your interests because colleges want to see that your major, essays, and activities all tell the same story about who you are and what you want to do in the future.
Exactly. You don't need to have everything figured out, but you should have some direction. Like, what country do you want to study in, or what kind of campus culture fits you?
And seriously, you should plan and start early. The stress is really overwhelming.
Yes. And let's talk about advice, because everyone suddenly becomes a college aspirant when you start applying.
Okay, so here's the thing about advice everyone's going to give it to you whether you ask for it or not.
True, and I had people sending me random tips constantly.
I think the key is knowing how to filter the information you would actually listen to. So when I began writing essays for my early action schools, I had my school counselor saying one thing and my private counselor saying the totally opposite.
And who did you believe eventually?
Well, of course I believed in the one I paid more for. But seriously, you need to filter advice. Not everything everyone says applies to your situation.
Yeah, and once you figure out who listen to, the next big question is what specific major you want to apply.
Yeah, majors. You don't need to be 100% sure, but you should have some ideas. I think you should base it on what you like and what you're good at. If you enjoy the subject, you'll stick with it longer. And colleges can really tell what you're passionate about or if you're just trying to fill out the activity list.
Yes, for me, I liked art and I was good at science. So I looked into architecture and product design that combine art and science. So you need to do your research. There are way more options than you think.
Yeah. Like if you're interested in biology like I do, you don't have to apply as a bio major. There's tons of related fields. Like I chose environment and I'm happy with it.
The next thing you need to worry about is where you are actually going to apply. Choosing schools was probably the most overwhelming part for me. There are so many factors you need to consider. The location, weather, campus size, and cost.
Right, so first figure out what country you really want to study. As far as I know, UK, Canada, and Australia schools focus heavily on grades. The US cares just as much about your extracurriculars and essays when you apply.
Also, there's fundamentals of life, money and money. Public schools are generally cheaper, but if you are an international student who can pay full tuition, that can actually help your chances to get into some schools. And for our school specifically, you can get scholarships more easily than other schools. But you need to keep in mind that the materials and tools you will still need to pay and they are expensive.
If you're sure about your major, you should look at program rankings, not just overall school rankings. Well, a school that's ranked 50th overall might have a top 10 architecture or engineering program.
And there is a tip that you early decision your favorite reach school and early action any school you can avoid to avoid cramming in December. It's totally normal to get rejected from your ED school, by the way. So if you get a rejection, don't be so disappointed and give up. You still have many options to choose from.
After you choose which school you want to apply to, you will need to write tons of or talk about.
First, the personal statement should be about something you're really interested in. You need to show how you're devoted into it through activities, competitions, and what you have learned in school.
Well, and make sure it's consistent. Don't write about just sustainability if you have zero activities. Connect it to your major and show how you'll continue the interest in the future.
And next, for supplementals, especially why school and why major essays, you need to focus on different aspects of yourself. Like I applied to Rice University for architecture, and I had to write 3 Y major essays and 1 Y school. So I listed out many different reasons that I chose architecture. Then I researched specific resources for each of the reasons, advice for each essay.
Next, for anyone applying to art programs, what do you think people should know about?
First, and the most important thing is to start early. I start preparing my artwork in 10th grade, and I think it's a little bit late. I prepare about 25 pieces, and you need to show a range of different materials and different techniques you use in both 2D and 3D artworks based on what major you choose. Just make sure you can show basic drawing skills and artistic thinking.
How about the
Your artwork should relate to each other somehow. Maybe all of the artwork is related to natural materials or they explore similar themes. You'll need to show that you are interested in and develop your own style.
Okay, we've shared really much today, and I think it's time to wrap up.
This process is hard, but you will all get through it. Just stay organized and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Good luck, everyone. Thanks for listening.
And you need to show a range of different materials and different techniques in both 2D and 3D artwork based on what major you choose. And you need to make sure that you can show your basic drawing skills and artistic thinking.
What about the content?
Your pieces should relate to each other somehow. Maybe all of the artwork is related to natural materials or they explore similar themes. You need to show what you're really interested in and develop your own style.
How important is the presentation?
It's very, very important. How you arrange your portfolio matters almost as much as the work itself. You need to show your progression and show the variety of your artwork.
Okay, we've said really much in our podcast today. So if you could go back to July, what would you do?
I really wish I started essay earlier. Don't underestimate any supplemental essays because they'll drive you crazy, like I am.
For me, I spend more time on my portfolio.